Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Jessica from Afro-Vegan Society, and welcome to the final week of Veguary. I am so excited to be here with you today because I'm going to show you how to make a super simple and super delicious noodle stir fry made with a blood orange sesame sauce, some tempeh, and some delicious fresh veggies like broccoli and zucchini. So this recipe was made in partnership with Hungry Harvest, and they are actually the sponsor of today's giveaway for Veguary. So if you want to enter the Veguary giveaway, go ahead and take the Veguary pledge if you haven't already at afrovegansociety.org/Veguary. And then you can either comment on the relevant post on Facebook or Instagram, and a winner will be randomly selected once Veguary concludes. These rules are the same for all of the prizes that we're going to have during Veguary. You can still enter through the end of February to be eligible to win potentially a prize. So yeah, like I said, I'm so excited to be here. I have some beautiful fresh produce here on my table, and I'm going to show you this super, super simple preparation. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about Hungry Harvest. Hungry Harvest is a produce delivery service that focuses on ending hunger and food waste. And so they send out rescued produce on a weekly or bi-weekly subscription service, and they have multiple options. You can get a mini harvest, you can get a family size harvest, you can get organic produce only, you can get conventional, and you can also get just fruit, just veggies, a mix of fruits and veggies, and they also offer some groceries. So Hungry Harvest is really great, and they are going to be giving away one mini harvest to one lucky winner of our giveaway, but you must live in certain areas. So read the instructions. There's a link to see if you are in Hungry Harvest delivery area, but it's DC, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, Florida, and New Jersey, I think. There may be some other states that they deliver in, but yeah, like I said, go to their website to see if you are in their delivery zone, and then go ahead and enter to win. So I think I've done enough introductions. Let's get started making this sauce. So the main flavor component of what makes this stir fry so special is this blood orange sesame sauce. So blood oranges are in season right now, and as you can see, I have some beautiful ones sliced right here in front of me. This is 4 blood oranges. I have a mixture of small and medium sized ones. And so to get started on our sauce, I'm just going to start off by juicing these right on in to a bowl. So today I'm going to be preparing this with tempeh, but you could use whatever you like. You could do this with tofu, mushrooms, a vegan chicken replacement. The options are limitless. You could even do it with just stir-fried vegetables, whatever you prefer. But I'm going to do this with tempeh today. And tempeh is awesome because it is a fermented soy product that is really high in protein, and it has a very neutral flavor base. So it's awesome to just, get started, and it really takes on flavor well. So I like these blood oranges because not only do they have a beautiful deep color, they have a nice tart flavor. So they're not as sweet as some other oranges, which is really nice, I think, because it adds some really nice, interesting character to the flavor of the sauce we're going to be developing here. So I'm just going through and I'm going to juice all of these oranges. We'll see how much. I'm just eyeballing it. But I can provide the full written recipe for you as well. So it's on Hungry Harvest Instagram page right now if you want to get the full written recipe, but I will also email it out after this demo concludes. And it's a super simple recipe. But you see here, I'm looking to make sure I don't get any seeds in the bowl, but I'm mainly focused on making sure that I just get as much juice as possible. And don't worry about straining out that pulp. The pulp is great fiber. It's going to add some nice texture. It's going to help our sauce to thicken very nicely. So add all the pulp in. Okay, so I'm going to pause on juicing these oranges really quickly to get our tempeh started. So I just want to get a bit of browning, a bit of a sear on our tempeh before we add it with the sauce. I'm going to turn my heat on medium heat, and then I'm going to take my tempeh. This is about 1 standard package of tempeh cut into about 1/2-inch cubes. So I'm just going to dry saute these. You can add a little oil if you want to, but I don't think you need it. So we're just going to dry saute that tempeh, and then I'm just going to add in a bit of sea salt, just to get the flavor going. That's maybe an eighth to a quarter teaspoon of sea salt that I just added in. But we'll be salting this as we go, tasting everything as we go. But like I said, the flavor of the tempeh is really neutral to start. So I wanted to go ahead and get a little salt on our tempeh as we start sauteing everything up. And in the comments, let me know, how is Veguary going for you so far? I want to know what are some dishes or products that you've tried so far that you've really enjoyed. And let me know, have you ever made your own sweet and sticky sauce like this before at home? And what kind of ingredients do you like to use when you make them? This is my first time doing it with blood oranges, and I'm doing that thanks to Hungry Harvest sending me this produce. You know, I've never done this with blood oranges before. I usually just eat them, slice them up and eat them. But after doing this recipe, I'm going to be looking for more ways to incorporate blood oranges into some of my recipes. But this recipe is really based off of my mom's sweet and sour chicken recipe. So when we were growing up, sweet and sour chicken was like our favorite special occasion dinner to eat when it was somebody's birthday or a holiday or just something special happened. And she made it with pineapples and bell pepper and onion. And she would make a sweet and sour sauce using just canned pineapple chunks and some vinegar and brown sugar. And so I took the basic formula from that, and then I'm swapping in, you know, apple cider vinegar instead of white vinegar. Obviously, I'm making it vegan because I'm not using any chicken. But like I said, you could use a vegan chicken alternative if you like, or tofu or anything like that. And yeah, then I'm adding in just a little bit of extra flavor by adding in some sesame seeds, a little bit of sesame oil, ginger, all those good things. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm adding in just as soon as I'm done juicing these oranges. I think after this one, I'm going to stop. We have a nice amount of orange juice here. And honestly, too, if I don't know if it's actually faster, but, you know, if you don't want to make as much of a mess as I'm making, another way you can go about this is to just peel your whole oranges. Look at them to make sure you get the seeds out, but peel your whole oranges and throw them in a blender with all the spices I'm about to show you and blend everything up. And that provides a great base of flavor with a little bit less manual work. So I'm going to wipe up my space and move these out of the way. All right. All right, so I can start to hear the beginnings of a sizzle in my pan. Let's bring this on over. Grab my whisk. And so now it's time to make our sauce. So we have the juice of 4.5 oranges here. Depends on just how much you want to make. Next, I'm going to add in about a half teaspoon of ground ginger, but you could also use fresh grated ginger. That would be delicious. I'm going to also add about a half teaspoon of garlic powder, but you could also add fresh minced garlic. That would also be really delicious. Let me add a little bit more ginger. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. So, and then I'm going to add in our sesame seeds. So I have a mixture of black sesame seeds and white sesame seeds and some chili flakes. This is a 1/4 teaspoon of each, but you could use just one kind of sesame seed. You don't have to mix it, but I just think it looks really pretty to have the mixture of colors. And then I'm going to add in about 1.5 tablespoons of agave nectar. You could also use maple syrup. Thank you for the compliment on the earrings. I try to find big earrings because my hair is big and they get hidden. So thanks for noticing. All right, so about 1.5 tablespoons of the agave nectar, and then I'm going to add in about a half teaspoon of the sesame oil. Now, this is optional. You can make this recipe 100% oil-free without adding the sesame oil in. You maybe add a few more sesame seeds if you like that. And then I'm going to add in some sea salt. I'm going for about a 1/4 teaspoon here. Ooh, and I see some activity happening on this pan. So let's move things around a bit. Like I said, we just want to start to get these like dry sear on the outside and let the salt start to kick in the flavor. So these are doing well. They're starting to get a bit of a golden color. So I'm just flipping these cubes over and keep it moving. And I'll turn on the heat a little bit because I don't want this to smoke, because when I'm done putting this sauce together, I'm going to pour it in this hot pan and I don't want it to like sizzle everywhere. So we added in our sea salt. And then next up, I'm going to add some miso paste. So I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of miso paste. Now, in the original recipe, I used soy sauce or tamari sauce. You could even use liquid aminos or coconut aminos, but I'm out of that. So I had to find a way to incorporate that depth of flavor that soy sauce offers. And I happen to have some miso paste, so that's what I'm using. If you are soy-free, coconut aminos are a great option. Or if you want to try the miso paste way, you could use a chickpea or rice-based miso paste instead of using a soy-based one. So you can still get that nice fermented, yeasty depth of flavor that provides what they call umami in your dish. So now I'm just going to whisk this all together. Let's see. Thanks, Tiana. Okay, so we got our miso, everything whisking together. Nice. And it really does not take much at all. This sauce comes together so quickly. And like I said, you know, if peeling oranges is quicker for you, you can totally just throw the whole oranges into the blender with all of these seasonings and blend them up that way. And it's probably even more convenient to do that way as well with like garlic and ginger, because then you don't have to grate it. You can put it in whole in the blender with the oranges and all the spices and just blend everything together. And you got your sauce. So now we always taste. We taste and we adjust our seasonings based off of what our preferences are. But I don't think that needs any adjusting. Okay. For me, I like a little bit of spice, but I don't like it too overly spicy. So that 1/4 teaspoon of red chili flakes was perfect for me. But if you like something with even a little bit more kick, feel free to add more. So actually, I think I could use just a touch more agave nectar. There's not really much left in this bottle, but I just sense that. So based off of this amount of blood orange juice, which is 4.5 or 3.5 oranges juiced, I would say closer to 2 tablespoons is the right amount to get the flavor balance right. So now I have my sauce here and I'm pouring it into my pan with the tempeh. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and crank that heat up. Let's get this out of the way. And basically what we want to do now is just allow this to cook, allow the flavors to meld together, and we want this sauce to reduce and thicken a bit. Now, if I don't have any cornstarch either, but if you had a cornstarch or tapioca starch, you could add, you know, a teaspoon or a half teaspoon of that, and it would make your sauce thicken up a lot faster. But we're going to go, you know, a little bit more simple. It takes a little bit more time, but it requires less ingredients. And I'm turning my heat all the way up because ultimately what we want to do is to raise the heat in this recipe so that the steam releases and the sugars and the flavors caramelize and concentrate, because we want that punch of flavor. So maybe want to, you know, cook off about 25% of the liquid in this pan. So yeah, I cranked my pan all the way up, and here we go. You said you can taste it in Columbia, Maryland. You really should try it too. This is super, super simple. I hope you're seeing that so far, that this was just a really simple combination of ingredients, but you know, you can adjust it based off of what you have going on. For example, I was worried that I didn't have enough agave nectar at first. And so I was going to use some sweet chili sauce, which is naturally sweet. It has sesame and other great flavors in it. And I was just going to use that instead of agave nectar or maple syrup. You can also use brown sugar, but what's nice about all these recipes is once you understand the components and the role they play in developing the flavor, you can totally make adjustments, swap in and out as you go, and you can make this sauce in different variations depending on what you have available. I'm using blood oranges today because I have them, but you could use any variety of oranges. This probably would be really good with pineapple. Like I said, this dish is inspired by my mom's sweet and sour chicken, but you could also use lemons, limes. I don't know. Tell me some other fruits that you think would be good in this type of sauce if you don't have oranges. Citrus is probably, the best way to go, but maybe something like pomegranates would be really good. So learning the basics, getting comfortable with the basics of flavor development is always the first step. But then after that, you can start to innovate and adjust based off of, however experimental you want to be. So our sauce is starting to come up to a simmer. And let me tell you about the rest of the ingredients that we are going to be adding into this dish as our sauce reduces a bit more. So I have here some chopped cilantro and some sliced scallions. So you could add these herbs whenever you want. Actually, I'm going to add just a little bit now, but I'm mainly using these for garnish at the end because you don't want to cook these down too much. The flavor changes and they kind of get, a little bit more mellow. So I will add just a little bit of that in right now. I also have this nice bowl of lightly steamed broccoli and zucchini. So these are, once again, the vegetables that I had available, but you can use any type of squash, broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, anything you have. Just lightly steam it. So I probably only steam this for like 3 or 4 minutes. And then what happened? But if you don't have fresh vegetables, you could also use, a bag of frozen mixed vegetables. Just make sure you thaw them out before you start the recipe. But yeah, so I have my broccoli and zucchini here. And then I also have some rice noodles. So I just love rice noodles. So that's what I'm using in this dish today. I have cooked these according to the package instructions, but I kind of undercooked them by like a minute or two because I know they're going to continue to cook in this sauce when I add everything together. So I don't want them to like break apart and be too mushy. So I'm using rice noodles, but you could use edamame noodles, wheat noodles. You could use just rice. You could spiralize zucchini and eat this with zucchini if you're not eating grains. So once again, whatever you serve this on could be whatever you like as well. And you could even just make this stir fry. And if you want to keep it really light, like just serve it in leaves of lettuce to make lettuce boats or lettuce cups. So yeah, there's so many ways that you can take this base ingredient, especially if you're thinking about making a larger batch for something like a meal prep, and then finding new ways to eat it throughout the weeks that you don't get bored with it. When you start with a great flavor base, and then you have lots of different ingredients you can rotate in and out, you're always going to have versatility, but it's still going to be really simple. So that's what we got going on here. And it's smelling so good. It's really smelling amazing. So this is actually thickened up quite nicely. And our tempeh is nicely coated. And so what I'm going to do now, I don't want to rush it. I think it's close, but I don't want to jump the gun. I want this to simmer for like another minute or two. But let's see how our tempeh tastes as well. Oh, it's too hot. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So the nice thing is when I dry sauteed it with the salt, you could also, like I said, use soy sauce to do that instead if you don't, if you have it. The first time I made it, I added like a tablespoon of soy sauce to the pan instead of using sea salt. But that had time to penetrate into the middle of the tempeh, so it has flavor through and through, even as the sauce continues to reduce down and thicken and cling to the outside of it. So let's see. Yeah, what I'm going to do next, I think it's time. I wish I could show you this safely, but you can kind of tell because that it's ready because when I like pull my spatula through the pan, like it leaves a streak for a little bit before the sauce comes in. So it's thickened really nicely. It's not like super liquid anymore. It definitely has become quite a bit thicker. And part of the reason that it thickened as well, in addition to adding the agave nectar, which is helping it to caramelize and, reducing the water to allowing the steam to release, fruits have a natural thickener in them called pectin. And so when you heat the orange pulp, the pectin thickens, and that helps to create a thickness in the sauce as well. So like I said, this will go, you could probably cut about 5 minutes off this prep process if you have cornstarch or tapioca starch or something like that. But even without it, it doesn't take too long. So now I'm going to add in our rice noodles. and they're kind of sticking together a little bit, but that is okay. I'm going to let the steam work on it a little bit. And the color of this is so beautiful. It's like a deep burgundy magenta color. So pretty. So be patient. Allow the liquid to kind of get into the creases and crevices of the noodles so that we can just get this going. As I'm sitting here making this dish, I cannot believe that, you know, we are closing out Veguary. We're in the last week of Veguary. We've made some delicious food together this month, from starting off to making our own plant milks at home using almonds and cashews and oats and coconut, to moving on and making some delicious tacos using jackfruit and banana blossoms. And then last week we had breakfast for dinner where we made French toast and breakfast tacos. And now we're having this amazing blood orange sesame noodle stir fry together that I hope you try this recipe very soon and tell me what you think of it. And then I'm actually going to be live again on Sunday for the last day of Veguary with another live demo. And I'm going to be making a vegan version of a recipe from a popular restaurant. And so we had a poll inside of the Veguary support group here on Facebook. And we voted between Red Lobster and Cheesecake Factory, and Cheesecake Factory won. So I've been looking at the Cheesecake Factory menu, trying to decide what dish should I veganize, because you know their menu is huge. So in the comments, let me know if you like Cheesecake Factory and you know there's a dish you want to see veganized on Sunday. Let me know, because I'm going out to get my supplies on Friday maybe, because I need to test it before I should come show you the recipe. But yeah, I'm planning to show you how to veganize a menu item from Cheesecake Factory. When I was looking at the menu, though, I was pleasantly surprised because there are quite a few vegan options and even vegetarian options that can be easily veganized if you say no cheese or no sour cream. So yeah, they do have quite a few options on the menu to choose from, but I definitely want to make something different. I'm being drawn towards the pasta dishes, but I'm like, is that too easy? Is it too easy to make pasta? So yeah, let me know if you want to see some pasta from Cheesecake Factory, or if there's another dish that you want me to veganize from the Cheesecake Factory, but not a cheesecake. That's going to be too hard to do on a live demo. So, all right, so this is thickened up quite a bit. So let me grab some water because we need to loosen this back up. Okay, I'm just going to add in a few tablespoons of water here just to loosen the noodles up. Like I said, they were slightly undercooked intentionally, and rice noodles also release a lot of starch when you cook them. So these are helping to thicken things up quite nicely as it all cooks together. And the rice noodles are holding together very nicely. They're finishing cooking off very well, and they're not breaking apart. So once I get this moisture incorporated, I'm going to go ahead and add in our steamed veggies to finish this off. So like I said, this is a sliced zucchini and a crown of broccoli that was steamed for just about 3 or 4 minutes. And really all I'm trying to do is just get this evenly incorporated and just allow it to heat through. And then once we do that, this is going to be ready to serve. So let's get this centered right here. And one way that I like to heat things through when they're cooking at different paces in the pan is I'm kind of just flipping the noodles on top of the veggies, because first of all, I don't really want the noodles on the direct heat anymore because I don't want them to get too mushy. And also I just want to put the vegetables underneath so that they get a chance to get closer access to the heat, but they're also being warmed by the heat inside of the noodles. So I just kind of flip it upside down in my pan. And then once I do that, it cools down the temperature of the pan. So by the time I start to hear sizzling again, which will take another 2 to 3 minutes, I will know that everything's done and well heated through. So that's one of my stir fry strategies. And I like doing this too because you don't have to mess with the noodles or anything too much. So once again, you're not going to be breaking it up and making it really mushy. So At this time, I'm also going to go ahead and sprinkle on more of our cilantro and scallions because vibrant colors are where it's at. As I say again and again in my demos, eating vibrant colors and a wide variety of vibrant colors from plants in your dishes is a good indication that you're getting a wide variety of nutrients, which you need to, live a healthy vegan lifestyle. So eat color, eat a wide variety of color as often as you can to get all of your nutritional needs met. Okay. Let's see. And it's looking a little stiff again, so I'm just going to add a little bit more water to help this along. Okay. And as I mentioned before, this giveaway is featuring blood oranges and fresh produce from Hungry Harvest. So you definitely want to go ahead and enter our giveaway, especially if you live in their, exclusively if you live in their delivery area, so that you can potentially win one of their mini harvest boxes. We have a coupon code for you to redeem so that you can get fresh, rescued produce delivered right to your door so that you can create some delicious meals with. I've been getting Hungry Harvest orders on my own for just about the last 2 months, and I've gotten some really interesting things. I had star fruit, and I've been eating star fruit with my oranges for breakfast. I've been getting beautiful citrus all winter long, and it really helps me because I personally get the extra large box and I get it delivered on a bi-weekly basis. So that's enough for me that I continuously have fresh produce in the house, and it really doesn't get to a point where like I've run out of groceries or I've run out of fresh produce, which is something that sometimes happens with me. And I get to focus on exploring what they provide me in the box. And then I might supplement with, frozen fruit or bananas or frozen veggies just to supplement, but I don't have to spend as much time in the grocery store, especially now, which is nice. And so I've really been enjoying getting the Hungry Harvest box. Like I said, I get the large box, and that's because, I develop recipes, so I need access to ingredients. But there's a lot of familiar things that you get on a regular basis, but there's also some cool and interesting and new items that you get as well. So you get to like experiment and also have your staples, and it's so convenient. And it's great because they are fighting food waste and fighting hunger. So their mission is awesome. And if you are in, DC, Maryland, Virginia, any of those surrounding areas or any of the delivery areas, you're also supporting local business that was created to perform a social good. So check them out regardless. Okay, so our sizzle is starting. It's looking beautiful. So the last time I made this also, I just cooked the noodles separate. I didn't stir fry them in with the vegetables in the tempeh. And so because I'm using rice noodles as well, like the noodles now have this very pretty pink color. I think it's super cute. So the pink and green are really complementing each other. So it's pretty beautiful. And for me, like eating pretty food kind of helps like on a sensory level with feeling satisfied when I eat. So like if it has to smell good, taste good, the texture has to be right. But also like if it looks beautiful too, I'm just like really like, okay, yes, I'm eating broccoli and zucchini and tempeh and oranges, but I'm not craving processed foods or junk foods because this meal is beautiful. So it's hitting a lot of satisfaction points for me across the board. So think about that as well in terms of being satisfied with the meals that you're eating as you're adopting a vegan diet or just finding new ways to make it fresh and interesting for yourself. Okay, so this is looking done. So I'm going to go ahead and plate this up right now. Okay. put some more tempeh on top. Excellent source of protein. This is organic tempeh. It's one of the most unprocessed ways to eat soy, and it's very nutrient dense. And because it's fermented, it aids in the digestion and the assimilations of the nutrients within the soy. So, okay. So I want to come closer. I notice when I do this, I get cut off from my mic. So let me come on up and let's do a time check. So it's 3:31. So it's been about 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, we have created this deliciously beautiful, absolutely beautiful blood orange, sesame, ginger, vegetable noodle stir fry. So let me come closer and show you what it's looking like. My mic, so we can get some good audio and turn off my heat. Here I come. Okay, here we go. So let me see. Here we go. So here's our stir fry. Let me get that in focus. And it is so beautiful. Like I said, it smells amazing. And yes, I'm actually about to eat this for late lunch. And I hope that you like this recipe and you give it a try very soon. I'll actually go ahead and paste the recipe in the comments on YouTube and Facebook underneath this video. And then you'll get it in an email as well when it goes out in a blog post. So thanks so much for tuning in. We are, like I said, rounding the ending corner of Veguary. I hope you've been enjoying all the resources that we've been sharing so far. And, you're getting the support that you need to help you along this vegan journey. I will see you again on Sunday with an all-new recipe where I veganize a menu item from Cheesecake Factory. And I'm looking forward to sharing that experience with you all. So until then, I will see you. Bye, everybody.